Hello everybody, my name is Brandon. Welcome back to the channel. So earlier this week, I posted what ended up being part 1 of my February 2020 book haul. When I was filming it, I didn't expect it to be a part 1 of 2, but then the 28th and the 29th happened, thank God for leap year, and I now have a part 2. So after I ended up filming that video, I got an email from my not so local but local enough bookstore that they were having a sale, an extra 20% off sale, and that was on Saturday the 29th of February. And then my wife decided she needed to go out and do her hair on Friday, so that left me and my daughter alone to do whatever it is that we wanted. And of course, because my daughter's only 18 months, she doesn't have much of a say, she ended up coming with me as we hit a couple Salvation Armies, so we did a little thrift store shopping, and I did hit disc replay. So this is what is now going to be part 2 of my February 2020 book haul. Now, I will say I do have one non-book item that I'm going to show. I picked up at Disc Replay. I'm going to talk about that at the very beginning, and then the rest is going to be books. Fortunately, I don't have nearly as many books this time around as I did the first time, but I do have a surprisingly large number of books still, but this won't be nearly as long as the first video was, which if you haven't watched that, definitely check that one out as well so you can see everything that I picked up along with this video in the month of February. All right, so enough chat. Let's dive right in. So the one thing I picked up that was not a book on the last 2 days of the month for February was a 4K movie. Like I said, we hit Disc Replay, and they happened to have this, Toy Story 3. It was $4.99 on 4K. And not only does it come with the 4K, it has the 4K, and then of course it has the Blu-ray with it. There's actually 2 Blu-rays, one with the bonus features and one without. I do own it on Blu-ray already. I think I own I have a little Buzz Lightyear figure, which I don't have anywhere around here, but it's actually up over there. I can see it. And that, I believe, is Toy Story 3 with Blu-ray 3D. So now I have the Blu-ray 3D, 2 copies of the Blu-ray, and the 4K. For $5, I mean, that's insanely cheap. So, of course, I picked it up. These were recently, the steel books of these were recently on sale at Best Buy for $10. And I decided to pass on them, which I don't really regret, because if I can find these for $5 at Disc Replay, then you can bet your bottom dollar I'm going to keep looking there to get Toy Story 1 and 2, because now I own 3 and 4 and 4K. Obviously, I have to get the rest of the series because that'd be ridiculous if I didn't. So the other cool thing is that this still had the digital code, which was able to be used. So really cool find for $5 on a Friday night. Wasn't expecting it at all. Just wanted to go see what they had. And of course I had to grab it. So Toy Story 3 on 4K is the only non-book item I'm going to show in this video. So I know what I want to show last, but I don't know what I want to start with. But I think I'm going to start with some middle grade. So one book series that I always remembered reading as a kid and loving, along with the movie, was Indian in the Cupboard. And my wife actually bought me the movie, I don't know, probably time flies. So we've been together for like 11 years. I was probably 8-9 years ago. She bought me the movie for Christmas and on DVD, and I still love that movie. It's fantastic. So I've never read anything past the original Indian in the Cupboard, but it is a book series. So I happened to find at my Salvation Army, so thrift store. I don't know if everybody has Salvation Army. So when I say that, you might not know what I mean, but basically it's just a thrift store. So anyway, Mystery of the Cupboard. This is, I believe it is book 4 in the 4 or 5 book set. I think it's a 5-book series of the Indian in the Cupboard books. And this is the 4th book. I don't know much about it. It does have these illustrations in it, which are great, which I think the original did as well. I just don't remember it too much. I've not read that original book in a very long time, and I don't own it anymore, unfortunately. Indian in the Cupboard, a surprisingly thick book for a middle grade. It's like 240 pages for a middle grade book. That's crazy. But anyway, if you've not read this series, I definitely recommend the first book at least. It's just a classic from my childhood that I love. So I'm excited to hopefully get the rest of these. I did have them in my Amazon cart a long time back, but I never pulled the trigger. So if I can keep finding them used, then that'd be even better. So The Mystery of the Cupboard, which I believe is book 4 of the Indian in the Cupboard series. So if you watched my last video, my first part of this book haul, you'll know how excited I was about finding Star Wars episodes 1 through 6 as the junior novels, as they're called, but they're novelizations for middle grade audience. Well, I was at Salvation Army, these are from there as well, and I happened to find one of the Pirates of the Caribbean books. This is the junior novelization of the first film, The Curse of the Black Pearl. It was sitting there by itself, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. I'm going to grab that because of course I am. It's middle grade novelization, which apparently is like my thing now. So Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. And then I kept looking around and I happened to stumble across Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. So the second film in the series, which, mind you, I've never seen any of the Pirates of the Caribbean films. I started watching the first one when I was in undergrad at my friend's house. I fell asleep like 15 minutes in and I just never went back to it. So that's what my history is with this series. But I found this one and it was in a completely different spot. So of course I spent the next 10 minutes scavenging the shelves to see, hey, are there any others? Turns out all four of there's 5 movies now, but of the 4 original films were available as the middle grade. The junior novels were available that somebody traded in. So, or not traded in, but somebody donated. So we have On Stranger Tides and At World's End. So I was able to find books 1 through 4 in the middle grade, the junior novelization, so the middle grade novelizations of the entire Pirates of the Caribbean film series, excluding, of course, the brand new one, which I don't even know if they have a junior novelization of that or not, but if they do, I'll definitely grab it eventually. But so I need to read these and then watch the films because, like I said, I've never watched the films. So this will be kind of a different experiment with the Star Wars books. Of course, I've seen Star Wars countless times, and then I want to read the junior novelizations to see how they are. Well, these, I've not seen the film, so I'll be reading the junior novels first and then maybe checking out the films to see how they compare. So really cool find. I was not expecting, but the books 1 through 4 of the Pirates of the Caribbean junior novels. From novelizations over to a book that has a movie based on it, I was able to find Edge of Tomorrow, and this is written by Hiroshi Sakurazaka, and I apologize, I probably butchered that name, but this was, as it says here, originally published or previously published as All You Need Is Kill. Now, I always thought that Edge of Tomorrow was based off a manga. So I don't know if this is a novelization of the manga, a novelization of the screenplay, or simply the book that Edge of Tomorrow, or as it's now known, Live, Die, Repeat, was based off of. I don't know for sure. If you do know, let me know down in the comments below what the case is with this one. But I figured I love this movie. This holds a special place in my heart because it's one of the very few movies that Chris and I watched in theaters together when he came to visit a long time ago. We watched Edge of Tomorrow in theaters with my wife and then came home and watched the Asylum mockbuster of Edge of Tomorrow, which was like, I can't remember the title, but I'll put the image up there. And the Asylum mockbuster was just terrible, which I know what you're saying. Of course it was, but we like those stupid things. So yeah, but Live, Die, Repeat or Edge of Tomorrow. I'm hoping this is a good one. The movie's a lot of fun. It's just super action based and just a hell of a lot of fun. So I imagine the book's going to be really cool too. We'll see if I enjoy this one. I probably will, just given the fact that I like the movie, but let me know down in the comments if this is a novelization of the manga. Is this just based on the screenplay? Is this what the movie's based off of? Let me know what is going on with this one if you are aware of it down in the comments below. Sticking in the sci-fi realm, this was just a random one I came across at Salvation Army as well. And I guess I should have said Edge of Tomorrow I actually picked up at my local used bookstore, so that was not a thrift store find. But this is Orson Scott Card's The Changed Man. Now, I've never read any work from Orson Scott Card. Anyway, The Changed Man, this is actually a bunch of short stories. And it has 11 tales of dread from the fertile imagination of Orson Scott Card. So this is short stories, which I used to be a big short story fan when I was younger, but as I've gotten into this new reading habit over the past couple years, I've really shied away from short stories. I think I've only read 2 in the past couple years, and I didn't love either of them. I don't do a ton of short stories, but this one sounds interesting, and it's by an author who obviously I know the name, and is supposed to be one of the classic authors in this genre. So we'll see if I like this one. Orson Scott Card's The Changed Man. I am currently in the process of collecting a multitude of different book series, but one of them that I am collecting, and I was able to find both of these at my local used bookstore, is the Anne Rule's Crime Files. So there are somewhere around a dozen. I think I made this mistake in one of my videos in the past. I forget exactly how many there are, but this is volume number 4. I now own, I think, 6 or 7 of them, maybe 8. But yeah, so this is volume 4. This is In the Name of Love and Other True Cases. And then Anne Rule's Kiss Me, Kill Me, which is volume 9. So I was able to find volume 4. If I flip it around here, Volume 4 and Volume 9 of the Anne Rule Case Files book, or Crime Files books. And these are essentially, as I talked about before, short stories, but of true crime. And so you'll get a lot of different true crime stories in one rather thick book. And so I have read parts of some of these in the past, but never one from beginning to end. But because I love true crime, I decided I wanted to try collecting these because it's such a small number. Like, there's less than 20. I'm just going to say that because I don't feel like doing another video of how many there actually are, but there's not too many. So I am hopefully going to collect all these sooner rather than later. But yeah, so I got book 4, In the Name of Love, and book 9, Kiss Me, Kill Me. I was really excited when I found these two at my local used bookstore because one of them in particular is one that I've had my eye on for a very long time. I've heard about what it was, and so I really wanted to check it out. They are actually both late 70s and early 80s Star Wars novels. So the first one I want to talk about, this one is actually from 83, I believe, is what I just read. And this is Lando. I'm not going to say his last name because I sound like an idiot, but it is the first in the Lando trilogy, I believe. And this is written by L. Neil Smith. And so this is more stories about Lando, which is always cool. And then the one I was really excited about was Splinter of the Mind's Eye by Alan Dean Foster. So you probably know what this is, but if not, Alan Dean Foster actually wrote the novelization of Star Wars, A New Hope, the original one. And then he wrote Splinter of the Mind's Eye. He wrote this in 1978. So he wrote this before the sequel was set to come out. So he did not write this based on the sequel script at all. This is just a standalone, basically. The events of A New Hope happen, and then this picks up right from where that ends. At least that's how I understand it, which, again, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. I don't mind being corrected at all, but I'm only going on what I've seen in the past on people talk about this. So this is completely, it's Legends, which almost everything is non-canon anymore, which, kind of a short side story from canon. Who cares if it's canon? If it's a entertaining story, I don't really care if it's considered canon or not. At least for the Star Wars books, because there's so many great stories that were canon all the way up until Disney purchased the Star Wars brand or franchise from George Lucas. And then they just wiped all that out. And so it's just as easy as that for something to be canon or to not be canon. And so this is definitely not canon. Like, this was not canon ever since the second film came out, episode 5. But either way, I've heard it's really interesting. It does a lot of different things than episode 5 did. And so I really want to check this one out. I know I should start at the beginning, but honestly, this is probably going to be the first Star Wars extended universe or Star Wars Legends book that I do finish, that I start and finish, because I just really want to get to this one. This is such a cool find. It's in really good shape for being from 1978. It's not perfect, but it's really surprisingly good shape. So I'm really excited to read this one. I hopefully will talk about this after I read it. And if you know anything more about it, or if I've said something wrong, obviously Star Wars is a very well-known franchise, so please correct me down below. I don't mind at all. Set me straight. I need to know. So all of the rest of the books I'm going to show you are actually a part of one series or another. They're part of two series. And I found them all at one Salvation Army, and I found them all on Friday night, and so in one stop, basically. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw this. So the first, I'm going to talk about these first just because there was less of them, but it's probably, for me, the more exciting find. Somebody just turned in, somebody donated their entire CSI book series to that Salvation Army. So we have, let me go through them all here. We have Sin City, Double Dealer, Killing Game. I'm going to drop these. Snake Eyes, Grave Matters, Body of Evidence, and all of those were written by one of my favorites, Max Allan Collins. And then the last one is Brass in Pocket, which is written by Jeff Mariotti, or Marriott, however you say that. So it's the only one that's not written by Max Allan Collins out of the ones that this person traded in. So I have had one of the books in this series for a while now. I honestly don't even remember. I must have found it used because, I think it was at my library book sale. I happened upon it, and it was like book 6 or book 7 in the series. Well, now I have books 1 through 7 or so. I forget exactly. Basically, I'm missing book number 3, and I'll have all of the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll have all of the first 8 once I get book 3. Right now I have 7 of them, and I need book 3 and I'll have 8, which I am planning on picking up this weekend. I know that my Second and Charles, that's up at my parents' house, I know that they have it there. Well, I can't say I know they do, but they did the last time I was there and the last like dozen times I was there. So I'm guessing they're going to have it still because I don't imagine the CSI books are flying off the shelf. So I'm hoping that they're still going to have it. I'm planning on picking that up this weekend. So if I do, you'll see it in my March pickups video. But I am so excited for this. And Borders Books and Music price sticker on the back, which I always love. Got to point those out. And there's a couple of these. I don't know which store this is. Probably Borders, just faded. But anyway, really excited about this. Like, was not expecting to collect the series. In fact, I didn't want to start collecting the series. I was going to read that book, even though it wasn't the first in the series. They're all standalones. It doesn't really matter if you read them in order, but I'm just weird like that, and I would like to read them in order, so now I can, and I'm really excited about this. I love CSI. I mean, who doesn't? It's a great show. And now there's actually like a 3-book series of the spinoff CSI New York, and then there is a 8 or 9 book series from CSI Miami, which my boy, Max Allen Collins, actually writes all of the books in those other 2 series. So if I can find those, I definitely want to grab those as well. And kind of in the same vein, a couple books that I put back, which I regret, but I will probably go back and get them eventually, that I actually found 2 books in the Criminal Minds book series. This is only a 3-book series, and it's also by Max Allen Collins. The dude's super prolific. But anyway, I decided to put them back because it's only a 3-book series, and they only had 2 of the books. So I figured the chances of me finding that last book are pretty slim. So I figured, what the hell, just wait. You don't need it right now anyway, but eventually I'll probably go back and grab that. So yeah, I'm really, really happy that I was able to stumble across this at my local Salvation Army. So there were 7 books in the CSI series. So actually, I think that means I'll have the first 9. I said 8, but whatever. I'll have a bunch of the CSI books. So very cool find. Okay, so this next one is the big one. This is the last stack of books I have to talk about. And it's all from one series, so I'll just kind of fly through them like I did with the CSI books. But I was browsing the shelves at Salvation Army, and I saw those 6 or 7, whatever it was, CSI books on one shelf at the very bottom. When I walked in, I started at the right, moved my way left, and I saw that there was a couple of books in this series that I ended up picking up. But I kept going. I didn't really pay attention to them. I don't know anything about the series. Well, I didn't at the time. And it's really not anything that I would normally seek out by any stretch of the imagination. But then I kept going, and I saw little chunks of this series spread out throughout the shelves. So I was like, damn, they probably have a good number of these. So then I, of course, said, you know what? I'm going to try this. Who cares? It's 50 cents a book. Who cares? So I went back, and they ended up having 11 books in this series. And they were all spread out throughout the series. I think like book 3 was the earliest one they had. And then they had all the way up to like book 19, I think was the last one they had. But all spread out. There's 11 of them spread out between 3 and 19. This is I'll show the book now just so you know what series I'm talking about. This is the Cat Who series. So I actually, after I found those 11 books at Salvation Army, of course, because I had book 3, I had to get books 1 and 2. So I did that. So this is book 1, The Cat Who Could Read Backwards. And then I grabbed book 2 at that store, went to another store and was able to find books like 3 through 7. And so I have books 1 through 7 and then just a myriad of a mixture kind of throughout the rest of the series. But anyway, so let's talk about this series a little bit. This series is a cozy mystery series, which the only cozy mystery series I've purchased in my life is the Murder, She Wrote books. And I only did that because of the fact that it was Murder, She Wrote. And I have a history with the show, like I mentioned with my mother and my grandmother. And so I just enjoyed the show. And so I picked those up. But then this was just smacking me in the face when I was at Salvation Army. So I said, let's do it. Who cares? I'm going to pick them up. I knew nothing about them at the time, but now I know a little bit, so I can talk to you a little bit about it. So the Cat Who series, actually, so this is written by Lillian Jackson Braun. This was first released in 1966. There was book number 1, The Cat Who Could Read Backwards, released in 1966. Book number 2, The Cat Who Ate Danish Modern, released in 1967. And then book number 3, The Cat Who Turned On and Off, released in 1968. And then the series went away for 18 years. There were no books released for 18 years after book 3. And then for whatever reason, out comes book number 4. And whatever this would be, 1980, do the math, 1986. So the year I was born, 1986, The Cat Who Saw Red, which is book number 4, came out. And then every year after that came another book, all the way up until Lillian Jackson Braun's death in 2011. So it is a 29 book series, and I currently own, I counted before I started filming this, I want to say 12-ish, 12 or 13. And so book number 5 is The Cat Who Played Brahms. Book number 7, I'm really pissed at myself about, because I bought this one from the Salvation Army for 50 cents, and then I went to my used bookstore, not remembering that I had just purchased it the night before, and so I purchased it again, like an idiot. So I have 2 copies of book 7, and then book, that was book 6, excuse me, I'm getting all messed up here, and then book 7, The Cat Who Knew Shakespeare. And the reason I wanted to get the first number was because I wanted to get to this one, because I just really feel like I'm going to enjoy this one as someone that, I'm not a Shakespeare fan per se, but I've done, Shakespeare shows, and I appreciate him for what he is. And so I feel like I'll probably enjoy this one. So I wanted to get to this one, and then we'll just kind of see where it takes me from there. So anyway, the rest of these are not in order, and they're in order, release order, but I don't know exactly what numbers they are, so I apologize for that. But we have The Cat Who Talked to Ghosts, The Cat Who Lived High, The Cat Who Knew a Cardinal, The Cat Who Wasn't There, The Cat Who Came to Breakfast, The Cat Who Tailed a Thief, The Cat Who Saw Stars, The Cat Who Smelled a Rat, The Cat Who Went Up the Creek, and finally, this is book number 19, The Cat Who Went to the Bahamas. Or no, I keep saying they went to the Bahamas. The Cat Who Went Bananas. So, man, this isn't all of them. There's some more over here, but this is a majority of them. That's a lot of Cat Who books. So what is this series about? Well, it is about a reporter who, with his 2 cats, or her 2 cats, I think it's a he, with his 2 cats, what are their names? I promised myself I'd remember. I think it's Coco and Yum Yum. Why did I buy these? I don't know. Anyway, this reporter with Coco and Yum Yum are going around to solve murders that happen around them. That's what the entire series is about. Obviously, they're all going to be standalone, I'm sure, because that's how cozy mystery series work. But, oh my gosh, like, how ridiculous. I own 18 Cat Who books now. 18. 18 of these. Like, why? I don't know. But that means I only have 11 more to go, and I have the complete series. There are, I believe, 3 or 4, I think they're short story collections that also involve these characters. So if I eventually do get the other 11 of these, then maybe I'll grab those too. But, I mean, really, the first step is actually, let me get back to the first one here. The first step is starting with number 1 and going from there. One thing I will say, look at this font. It's so much bigger than the Murder, She Wrote books. So I feel like these are going to be quicker to get through than the Murder, She Wrote series is, but, which I've actually started. And so you'll have my thoughts on that hopefully by the end of March. But anyway, The Cat Who Could Read Backwards is the first book. So this is the first one I'll read. And I will, when I get to it, I will definitely let you guys know what I think of it. So I grabbed 11 of books in this series from the Salvation Army. And then the rest of them I grabbed from 2 of my different local used bookstores. So I now own, 18, I believe, books in Lillian Jackson Braun's The Cat Who series. All right, guys, so that is it for all of the books, and for real this time, all of the books I picked up in the month of February. Let me know down in the comments below, what did you grab in February? Any media. It doesn't have to just be books. What media did you grab in the month of February that you think is worth talking about? And have you read any of the books I showed you? If you have, give me a recommendation. Where should I start? I love recommendations from you guys because it really helps drive my goals and my channel. And so I really appreciate you guys sharing all your recs down below. All right, so that is going to do it for today. As always, if you guys enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to Cinefessions here on YouTube. But if not, thank you anyway for watching. I really appreciate it. All right, I want to thank everyone for watching, and I'll catch you next time. The Cat Who books. Who buys the Cat Who books? Ah!